there's a silent epidemic sweeping through our world, a quiet sickness of the soul that no amount of sleep or caffeine can cure. You've felt it, that bone-deep weariness that clings to you even after a full night's rest, that feeling of being perpetually exhausted, as if your very essence is being siphoned away by an unseen force. You're told to hustle harder, to manage your time better, to drink more water, but nothing ever seems to work. This isn't just physical fatigue. It's a symptom of a profound disconnect, a sign that the life you are living is not in harmony with the man you truly are. Welcome to Sigma Male Community. We are here not to offer you another hollow platitude, but to cut through the noise and expose the root cause of this chronic fatigue. This is about more than just being tired. It's about the ultimate energy crisis of the modern man, a crisis that was brilliantly explained decades ago by the great psychiatrist Carl Jung. This isn't about fleeting tips or surface-level fixes. This is a deep dive into the psychological underpinnings of your exhaustion, a journey into the truth that lies beneath the surface. It's a message for men who refuse to settle for a half-life, for those who are ready to reclaim their full, uncompromised power. 1. The performance tax, the cost of the persona. You are not tired from doing. You are bankrupt from acting. The energy drain you feel isn't the result of your job or your responsibilities. It's the direct and relentless cost of maintaining a persona, a mask you wear to navigate society. Every smile you force when you're hurting, every agreement you make against your better judgment, every moment spent playing the acceptable colleague, parent, or partner. These are not acts of social grace. They are withdrawals from your life force. This relentless performance is, as Carl Jung would describe it, the burden of the persona. The persona is the social face you present to the world, a necessary fiction that allows you to function within the collective. But Carl Jung warned of its hidden fee, the severing of your connection to your authentic self. The wider this chasm grows, the deeper you embed yourself in the role, the more profound and inescapable the exhaustion becomes. This isn't a spiritual or philosophical abstraction. It's a profound psychological and biological reality. The effort of constantly modulating your emotions and suppressing your true reactions is an energy-intensive process that bleeds you emotionally and physically dry. The very act of living a lie is what is making you tired. Authenticity, therefore, isn't an indulgence. It is a fundamental act of energy preservation. This persona isn't armor. It's a vacuum. The more energy you invest in maintaining this curated self, the less you have for the things that truly matter. Carl Jung understood that the persona, while a functional necessity, becomes a psychological prison when it completely overtakes the individual. The energy drain is not an incidental side effect. It's the direct and exorbitant cost of renting space in a skin that isn't truly yours. Imagine a computer running dozens of background processes you don't even need, all consuming vital processing power and draining the battery. That is the psyche burdened by an overdeveloped persona. The exhaustion you feel is the system's way of signaling that its resources are being misused. To be a man of stoic strength and unyielding resolve doesn't mean you must wear a mask of invulnerability at all times. True strength, in the Carl Jungian sense, is the courage to face yourself and integrate all parts of your being, including the parts you've been hiding behind a performance. The chronic fatigue you experience is a symptom of this internal division, a constant war waged within your own psyche between the man you are and the man you pretend to be. 2. The shadow siege. The energy of suppression. Beneath the polished and socially acceptable mask you present to the world lies your shadow, the exiled, unintegrated parts of your psyche. This is the repository of your raw needs, unfiltered desires, repressed rage, and unexpressed grief. You might believe that suppressing this powerful force is a sign of discipline and control, but Carl Jung would argue the opposite. It's not discipline. It's the psychological equivalent of holding a live grenade with the pin pulled. Every denied tear, every stifled no, every buried ambition is that grenade ticking louder, demanding to be acknowledged. The exhaustion you feel is the constant, grinding effort of containment, a psychological war waged within your own mind to keep these parts of yourself submerged. The energy of suppression is not a minor leak. It's a catastrophic drain. Imagine sprinting while dragging a heavy anchor. That's the physics of denying your shadow. The effort of keeping the beach ball of your true feelings submerged beneath the surface of your consciousness is relentless and unseen, but it consumes a tremendous amount of psychic energy. When you force a smile through resentment or hustle for validation you don't truly believe in, these aren't just moments of emotional weakness. They are catastrophic energy leaks springing from the pressure of maintaining an unsustainable facade. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is not just a dark part of the self. It's a vital, powerful source of energy and creativity that, when suppressed, becomes a destructive force from within. The chronic fatigue you experience is the body and mind's response to this internal conflict. It's the result of an ongoing internal civil war where one part of you is constantly fighting another. This isn't about being an emotional wreck. It's about recognizing that the strength you seek comes from integrating, not suppressing, these powerful, primal aspects of your being. True stoic resilience isn't a performance. It's an internal state achieved by facing and mastering all parts of yourself, not by exiling them. 3. Childhood's unplugged power. The undivided self. Observe a child and you will see a profound truth about human energy. A child operates without a mask, without a filter, existing in a state of pure, undivided presence. Their boundless energy isn't a magical trick, it's the uninterruptible power supply of authenticity. They have not yet learned the necessity of fracturing themselves for approval. That explosive joy, that untamed frustration, that immediate passion, it is all energy flowing unimpeded from its source to its expression. This, Carl Jung would suggest, is your baseline potential, the state of wholeness you possessed before the world forced you to come offline. The energy of a child is not larger. Their system is simply not hemorrhaging power to maintain a fictional identity. They radiate because they are whole, and their internal state is congruent with their external expression. A child's battery isn't larger. Their system is simply not hemorrhaging power maintaining a fictional identity. You possessed this once. It wasn't lost. It was disconnected. The exhaustion you now feel is the result of this disconnection. When a child experiences joy, it isn't curated. It detonates. When they feel anger, it isn't managed. It flashes. There is zero drain from internal conflict because in that moment, there is no conflict. This state of being, where the inner and outer worlds are aligned, is what Carl Jung called the state of wholeness, the goal of a process he termed individuation. This is the ultimate energy source, a wellspring of vitality that is inexhaustible because it is authentic. The man you are today, burdened by chronic fatigue, is the man who has forgotten this innate wholeness. He has learned to split himself in two, a public self and a private self, and the energy required to bridge that gap is what is draining him. Your task, therefore, is not to find a new source of energy, but to reconnect with the original unplugged power supply of your authentic self. Craving the counterfeit. Soul malnutrition. Disconnection from your true self creates a profound spiritual famine, a gnawing void that your body and psyche desperately try to fill. In this void, you crave substitutes, processed junk, hollow distractions, and numbing scrolls. This isn't a matter of weak willpower. It's a horrifyingly logical response. As Carl Jung would explain, if your inner world is artificial, dominated by the persona, then you will naturally crave artificial comforts to match it. Fake self demands fake fuel. Your cravings are not a moral failing. They are a brutal diagnostic of your authenticity level. Binge watching, doom scrolling, or reaching for sugar isn't leisure. It's a desperate attempt to fill the cavern left by self-abandonment, an attempt to find a quick, shallow fix for a deep, existential problem. When you consume unreality all day by maintaining a performance, your psyche seeks consistency in other areas of your life. The junk you crave is the exact mirror of the falsehood you are living. Carl Jung's work on synchronicity and the collective unconscious suggests that our internal states are reflected in our external world. This extends to our cravings. When your soul is malnourished, it seeks out processed, empty substitutes. These aren't just poor dietary choices. They are expressions of a deeper psychological imbalance. You are not eating to nourish your body. You are eating to numb the ache of self-betrayal. The craving for counterfeit pleasure is a symptom of a soul that has been starved of genuine experience. A man committed to a stoic way of living understands that true strength comes from integrity, and that integrity must extend to every aspect of his life, from his mindset to the food he puts on his plate. When you become congruent with your true self, your cravings will naturally shift from the artificial to the authentic, from the numbing to the nourishing. 5. Fatigue. Your soul's SOS chronic exhaustion is not a glitch in your system. It is your core self slamming the emergency brake. It is not whispering, "You're broken." It is roaring, "You're off course." This path is unsustainable. That bone-deep weariness is your body's final, desperate protest against carrying the unbearable weight of a stolen identity. You must listen to this message, for it is the most vital one you will ever receive. The psyche, as Carl Jung so profoundly understood, has its own self-regulating mechanisms. When the conscious ego, burdened by the persona, takes the individual too far from their true nature, the unconscious begins to intervene. Chronic fatigue is one of the most potent of these interventions. It is a biological revolt against chronic self-betrayal, a complete system shutdown designed to force you to stop, reflect, and reevaluate the direction of your life. Your cells are not tired of life. They are exhausted by the lie you are living. When your authentic soul screams, "This isn't you," and you continue to perform, the body steps in with a definitive response. Fine. Systems shutdown initiated. It is not laziness. It is a profound biological and psychological rebellion against the dissonance between who you are and who you pretend to be. To ignore this message is to do so at your peril. For a man of stoic character, this is not a sign of weakness, but an urgent call to action. The very nature of stoicism is about living in accordance with nature, and your chronic fatigue is the most primal signal that you are living against your own. The fatigue is not the enemy. It is the messenger, and its message is simple. Stop performing and start living. The path to overcoming this exhaustion begins not with finding a new source of energy, but with ceasing the constant, debilitating drain of self-denial. 6. The likability. Trap in its acid cost. Chasing approval is a dopamine drip with a hidden IV of poison. Every knot of validation you receive offers a momentary flicker of relief, but it simultaneously deepens your addiction and traps you in emotional debt. This isn't genuine connection. It's indentured servitude to the perceptions of others. The constant over-giving, over-explaining, and overthinking is not a strategy for success. It's a high-friction, energy-intensive process that leaves you drained. Carl Jung would identify this as an over-identification with the persona, where the need for external validation from the collective, the public, overwhelms your internal compass. The physiological cost is staggering. The chronic stress of maintaining this likable facade floods your veins with cortisol like battery acid, which, over time, shreds your neurotransmitters, cripples your digestion, and annihilates your immune system. Pretending to be someone you're not literally makes you sick. That insatiable need to be liked is a parasite feeding on your vitality. The chronic stress it generates is not an abstract anxiety. It is a full-blown physiological storm. Your gut rebels, your brain fog thickens, and your body's defenses crumble, all collateral damage from prioritizing the mask over your core self. The safety you think you find in being likable is a mirage, an illusion paid for with your health and your life force. Carl Jung's work emphasized the need for a man to become himself, to move from a state of being a mere collective creature to becoming a unique individual. This process of individuation is the antithesis of the likability trap. It requires a radical shift from seeking external approval to cultivating internal validation. The Sigma male understands that genuine respect is earned by being true to oneself, not by constantly seeking to please others. The chronic fatigue you feel is the physical manifestation of this toxic harvest, the body's way of signaling that it cannot sustain the stress of living a counterfeit life any longer. 7. Individuation, the ultimate energy hack. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the process of becoming your undiluted authentic self, is not merely a form of therapy. It is the master energy protocol. As you begin the arduous but essential work of dismantling the persona and reclaiming your exiled shadow, a seismic shift occurs within your psyche. The cravings that once enslaved you for sugar, for distraction, for numbing entertainment begin to lose their grip. You stop wanting what drains you because you are no longer being what drains you. Authenticity is not a behavior. It is a fundamental rewiring of your entire system, and that rewiring changes your desires from the ground up. This integration changes your appetites at a cellular level. You no longer crave the crash and burn of processed junk or the cheap dopamine hit of doom scrolling. Instead, you hunger for substance, for real food, for deep, restorative rest, for raw, unfiltered connection. The reason for this is simple and profound. Being real feels profoundly better than being merely liked. Your body, no longer in a state of internal civil war, aligns with your truth. The chronic fatigue, once a constant companion, begins to recede as the energy previously wasted on maintaining the facade is now liberated and directed toward meaningful living. This is the ultimate Stoic act, the courage to become your true self, to move beyond the expectations of the world and live in accordance with your own deep internal nature. The process of individuation is the ultimate energy hack because it transforms your entire relationship with yourself and the world, replacing the constant drain of pretense with the inexhaustible flow of authentic purpose. 8. Congruence, the surge igniter. Authenticity is not a vibe. It's your main power grid coming online. When your actions, words, desires, and values finally align, a state Carl Jung would describe as congruence, the exhaustion stops dead in its tracks. The reason is simple. You cease burning fuel to maintain a fictional character. The surge you feel is not caffeine or a motivational high. It is pure, undiluted life force, flowing unimpeded. The answer to your chronic fatigue isn't to try harder. It's to align deeper. Ditch the motivation hacks and plug directly into your core self. When internal conflict vanishes, when the man you are is what you do, the resistance you've been fighting against for so long simply evaporates. Effort becomes flow. Carl Jung's psychological framework posits that the psyche operates most efficiently when it is in a state of balance and harmony. When the internal civil war between the persona and the authentic self ceases, the energy previously wasted on that conflict is liberated. This isn't hype. It's the fundamental physics of an integrated psyche. Your nervous system, no longer under constant threat of exposure or internal dissonance, hums with purpose instead of panic. This is the profound truth that the Stoic man seeks. Not just a quiet mind, but a powerful, integrated one. Congruence is the ultimate state of operational efficiency for the sovereign mind. It is the very source of the unbreakable will and unwavering focus that defines a man of character. The energy you seek is not something to be generated. It is something to be liberated. It is unlocked when you stop performing and start commanding your life from a place of profound and unapologetic authenticity. 9. Food as self-expression mirror. Eating for presence. Your plate is a psychological readout of your inner state. Processed food is persona food, artificial, enhanced, and designed for a quick, crashing high, mimicking the inauthentic life you've been living. When you begin the process of shedding the mask and embracing your true self, your palate will instinctively rebel against the fake. You will find yourself craving whole, real, and nourishing food, not out of some sense of virtue, but because your integrated self demands integrity everywhere, starting with the fuel you put into your body. This is the unconscious mind's way of seeking coherence and authenticity in the physical world. Authenticity changes your relationship with food at a fundamental level. You stop eating to silence the ache of self-betrayal, and instead begin to eat to amplify your presence. 10th, soul rest versus body sleep. The unmasked recharge. 8 hours of sleep can reset the body, but it does absolutely nothing for a soul starved by relentless performance. You might wake up feeling rested, yet still carry that bone-deep, chronic fatigue because your core self remained on duty all night, maintaining the facade even in your dreams. True regeneration requires what can only be called soul rest, moments of unfiltered being, raw expression, and the intentional dropping of the act. Sleep heals cells. Truth heals the spirit. You can't sleep your way out of a lie. The mask you wear is not something you can take off and leave on the nightstand. It is an internal process that consumes your energy even when your body is dormant. Physical sleep is maintenance for the body. Soul rest, however, is resurrection for the spirit. It happens in the moments you stop managing your image. A genuine laugh that erupts from your gut, an unfiltered opinion you share without a second thought, or a creative burst that flows from a place of unself-conscious passion. These are the moments when your deepest battery reconnects. Without this soul rest, even a perfect night's sleep leaves you running on empty. Carl Jung's work on the unconscious mind highlights how much of our inner life is active, even when we are asleep. If your unconscious is constantly working to maintain a false persona, your sleep will be restless and unregenerative. The mask, in essence, blocks the recharge port. The exhaustion you feel is the result of a system that is never truly turned off, never allowed to return to its authentic, default state. To a Sigma male who values autonomy and self-mastery, this is a profound truth. True rest is not a passive act. It is an active return to self. 11. The regeneration effect. Efficiency through authenticity. Live unmasked, and your entire system undergoes a profound upgrade. Your sleep becomes truly profound, not just long. Your digestion smooths as the internal conflict and the corrosive stress of pretense ease. Emotional turbulence stabilizes, and your overall efficiency skyrockets. Why? Because being authentically you is the path of least resistance. The energy previously devoured by the performance is now available for living, for creating, for building. This isn't just a feeling, it's a biological optimization. When you stop abandoning yourself, your entire biology sighs in relief. The constant, low-grade cortisol drops, nervous system regulation improves, and your body's resources are no longer wasted on the internal espionage of monitoring the mask. Carl Jung's theory of psychic energy suggests that when the flow of energy is unblocked, it naturally moves towards creativity and growth. Pretending to be someone you're not is high-friction living, a constant struggle against your own nature. Authenticity, in contrast, is streamlined, a state of flow where effort and output are in harmony. The result is that you operate cleaner, sharper, and with less input for a greater output. This is not about willpower, it is about coherence. For a man who values ruthless efficiency and strength, this is the ultimate protocol. The energy you are trying to find through hacks and supplements is already within you, waiting to be unleashed. The chronic fatigue is merely the symptom of a clogged system. The cure is to unclog the system by letting go of the fiction and embracing the formidable reality of your authentic self. The integrated man is not just efficient. He is an unstoppable force, fueled by irreducible authenticity. 12. The fine facade is fatal, the exhaustion of universal performance. Declaring, "I'm fine," when you are in fact breaking inside, isn't a sign of stoic strength. It is the main valve for the most significant energy leak of all. This pervasive performance, which extends not just to the office, but into your intimate relationships and even into your solitude, is the ultimate self-betrayal. Carl Jung's work on the shadow and persona would highlight how dangerous this kind of constant self-denial can be. The safety you think you find in constant comfort, both yours and others, is a mirage. The true safety, and the boundless energy that comes with it, lies in the radical honesty of being seen, even in your perceived brokenness. The mask is not just for the outside world. It is a 24/7 internal process that creates a low-grade, soul-sapping dread. The invisible weight you drag with you every day is the cumulative tonnage of every unspoken truth, every stifled impulse, every time you said yes when you meant no. Dropping this act, selectively and strategically, isn't vulnerability. It is energy liberation. The universal performance of the fine facade creates a profound state of internal dissonance that requires a constant expenditure of psychic energy. This is a crucial point for the Sigma male who values independence. True independence is not about being a lone wolf. It's about having the inner strength to be yourself, regardless of the audience. The chronic fatigue you feel is the direct result of this internal civil war. It is the body's final protest against a lifetime of lies. By shedding the fine facade, you are not only reclaiming your energy, but also taking the first step towards a life of profound authenticity and unshakable inner strength. 13. Truth, the ultimate medicine. The antidote to chronic fatigue isn't more sleep, better pills, or a new diet. It is radical self-honesty. Carl Jung's core tenet was that truth is medicine. That bone-deep exhaustion you feel is the symptom. Self-abandonment is the disease. Healing begins when you stop performing survival and start embodying existence, coming home to your genuine self, your needs, your shadows, your unfiltered emotions, and all isn't some form of self-help. It's the ultimate energy reactivation protocol. The power source you seek isn't external. It's buried beneath layers of adaptation, expectation, and the demands of the collective. Chronic fatigue is the bill coming due for a lifetime of living on credit, the credit of your authentic self. Paying it back means reclaiming your truth, piece by exiled piece. This is the only medicine potent enough to reverse the drain. Carl Jung's work was a testament to the power of integrating the disparate parts of the psyche. This process, while challenging, is the only path to genuine wholeness and, by extension, genuine vitality. The man who is perpetually tired is not lazy. He is a man who has forgotten his truth. The journey back to that truth is the only path to a life of full power and energy. It is a journey of introspection and courage, a journey that every man who wishes to live a life of meaning and strength must eventually take. 14. The unstoppable real. Beyond likability into power. Carl Jung called becoming yourself the privilege of a lifetime. It is also the power source of a lifetime. The real you isn't a softer, weaker version. It is the integrated, undivided, and fully operational version. When you are aligned, you are not just efficient. You are formidable. Your energy doesn't trickle. It torrents. This is the end game. Not just feeling better, but becoming an unstoppable force fueled by irreducible authenticity. Stop searching for hacks and reclaim your source. The world doesn't need another polished persona. It needs the unstoppable force of you fully online. Forget being liked. Pursue being real. The energy unleashed when congruence replaces performance is not gentle. It is a transformative power that changes what you crave, how you relate, and what you are capable of achieving. This is the birthright that was traded for societal coins, raw, undiluted life force. Take it back. This is the core message of the Sigma male community, and it is a message rooted in profound psychological truth. The chronic fatigue you feel is not a failure. It is an invitation, a call from your core self to come home. When you answer that call, you will not only reclaim your energy, but you will also unleash a power that is both authentic and unstoppable. You've listened to these truths, and now you have a choice. You can dismiss them as just another video, another fleeting thought, and continue down the path of chronic exhaustion. Or you can see this as the profound wake-up call it is, the first step on a journey back to yourself. The Sigma male is a man who understands that true power comes from within, not from external validation. He is the man who is willing to do the hard, internal work that others avoid. The insights of Carl Jung aren't just academic theories. They are a roadmap to reclaiming your life force. The fatigue you feel is a lie. The truth is that your energy is not low. It is being siphoned by the act of being someone you are not. The time has come to stop performing and start commanding. This is your life. Take it back. If you are ready to stop playing a part and start living from a place of genuine, unyielding strength, then you are in the right place. Subscribe to the Sigma Male community for more insights that cut through the noise and guide you on the path to true independence, stoic resilience, and psychological mastery. This is not just a channel. It is a guide for men committed to growth, independence, and excellence. It is time to live, not just to exist. Your journey to an unmasked, uncompromised life begins now.